How do you want to start this?
Let's start off with introductions, I guess. Name, pronouns, kind of thing.
All right. Um, MachoChaos or MachoChaos VT. He, him.
Alrighty, well, thank you for that. Good to know. I, by the way, go by she, her. Um, Start things off. You did kind of get dogpiled on Twitter earlier,
Yep.
and I was just wanting to get your thoughts on, what you had tweeted and stuff.
Sure. So I I have a pretty good idea of what non-binary pretty much means. Essentially, it's just uh, it's basically right. It's you don't really identify as any gender. Is that what it is?
Um, it's that there's more than just that, and it's kind of a catch-all. There is no third gender, so to speak. It's honestly a lot more complicated than just a binary.
Hmm. Maybe I was thinking about the wrong definition then, but I just thought like I don't know. I just when I see non-binary, I assume it just means you don't really identify as any gender. You're neither male nor female. You just don't identify as anything at all. That
Well,
type of thing.
sometimes it's identifying as in between or outside of. The people that don't really identify with any sort of gender roles in society tend to go by a gender.
Oh, okay. Um,
Yeah, I do have your tweet up on screen so people do have idea of the context.
yeah. So basically, I don't. I guess I don't know. So yeah, more about my tweet. So yeah, basically it's just my beliefs. It's basically just like if you're I don't like me personally. I just don't really. I mean, I have a couple of friends. Well, I'm mainly just one right now that kind of agree with me. Like, I think the whole transgender thing is just a stupid idea that the Gen Z came up with. But when I told one of my friends about it, they're like, "Oh, well, it was like because he's an older friend of mine, but he said that the like being transgender was a thing way before Gen Z started to adopt it, which I didn't even know because I didn't know. I guess Gen X or even Boomers were doing it before it became popular with Gen Z and
Oh
Millennials.
yeah, to my knowledge, there's actually a Roman emperor that was, I believe, assigned male at birth, and then had everybody referred to them as a woman. Tried to get doctors to figure out the sex change surgeries back in ancient Rome or Greece. I can't remember their exact name, but like
Oh,
that was ancient stuff.
oh yeah. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was like people were doing it or sorry using that in like way back in the day or whatever. I just thought it was something that was like it just became super popular in like I don't even know what year, like the like I think what was it like when was it that Gen Z started to popularize it? Was it like early? It was I think it was like towards the end of or right before the pandemic. Was it like 2019 ish or 2020 or something that people started doing it?
I think the conversation really came into the mainstream to around, I want to say 2014 is when it started picking up. I can't quite remember exactly. I know Jordan Peterson actually had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I did hear about that. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I think ever since I first heard about it, I just thought the idea was just kind of dumb to me, just because I just think that a lot of ever since it became super popular and a lot of Gen Zers and millennial like I think it was more of the Gen Z versus millennials that were doing it just like started doing it just to do it just because it's because they wanted to feel better about themselves and it's just like you're doing this for the wrong you I don't know you're kind of doing it for the wrong reasons I don't know just you guys are just doing it just for the fun of it it's like you guys are just doing just you're just it's just a really stupid concept it's just like that's like saying like it's I hate to make fun of it, but like it's like saying like a straight guy like me or like any like typical normal person, not that I'm normal, but can like identify as whatever they want and make it seem like that they feel better about it when they really don't, because they're obviously making a joke about it. It's like I don't believe in the whole like identifying as he him when you were born a female, or the vice versa. If you're born a male, you identify as she her. It's just it's you don't get to do that. You're just you don't you.
My question is, what's the real problem with letting people live that way?
I just think it's a stupid idea. It's just something stupid that Gen Z started to use, and I don't like it. It's just stupid. I'm
I
not.
It definitely became more prominent as social understanding and acceptance grew. I mean, I can refer to the left-handed example popularized by John Oliver. Like,
He,
left-handedness was seen
yeah,
as demonic at some points, and once people started being allowed to be left-handed, there was a big spike of a lot more left-handed people. Then it just kind of leveled out.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think the whole concept is just dumb, because you don't. I don't think that people have the right to identify as the opposite gender when you're born as one gender. Like, until it's like I said in my tweet, it's like until you decide to get a full on sex change and decide, then that's when you can become like the opposite gender, when you go through with the full on surgery. But just doing the transgender thing by doing a transformation and not doing a full sex change, you don't you just don't get to do. I understand that some people do like a full on transformation by taking hormone pills to change their voice and whatnot. But like, you're still born with the lower body part that you were born with. You can't change that. Just because you want to become the opposite gender doesn't change the fact that doesn't change the body part you were born with. You don't get to do that. It's like
Well,
you
that's
can
what
use
the medical
you're fooling
surgery is
people.
for. If
Yeah, that's
people
what I'm
don't like
saying.
what they're born with, they can just change it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I
I
know
mean,
that they can do
what's
that,
the
but
harm with that?
it's I just don't like it. It's just stupid. Like, I just feel like the only time that a male or female can identify as the opposite gender is if they get the surgery. But if they don't plan on getting the surgery, or B, if it's too expensive, or C, their insurance won't cover it because of their state being the state that they live in, having opposite political views, then that's too bad, because they have to live with the gender that they were born as.
Uh,
You can't control that. You have to stay and live with and identify as the gender you were born as until you get the surgery.
well, I would argue that you don't have to identify with the gender that you're forced to live in some
You have to.
circumstances.
You have to. That's how it works.
No, because if you there's a lot of people that don't identify with what they're forced to live as, and then in a lot of people that causes gender dysphoria, which is a discomfort with having to live as what you don't genuinely see yourself as.
Oh, no. If you were born a male, you stay as a male until you get the sex change. It's plain and simple. You have to identify as he, him until you get the full sex change. That's all there is to it. You
So, like, do you
you
have
don't get to
to?
identify as she, her, or they, them. And that's the other thing too. Like, they, them is just you. I feel like the only type of people that can identify as they, them is if you suffer or have multiple personality disorder.
I
That's
believe
the
that's
only
referred
logical
to as
sense of it.
DID these days.
What is it?
DID,
What's that?
dissociative identity disorder.
Oh,
Yeah, it's actually quite complex.
I mean,
But getting back to your previous point, I was kind of wondering what makes somebody like a fan of a sports team? Is it when they start saying that they're a fan of the sports team, or is it when they have all of the jerseys, when they go to all of the games or whatever?
I can't really answer that. I don't. I wouldn't know because I don't really watch sports myself, so I can't really put myself
What
into
about
their
gamer?
shoes.
You're a gamer,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. What's to stop somebody from just calling themselves a gamer?
Uh, hmm. At that point, I think once I think like if you grew up playing a little bit of it, like if you were a millennial that grew up playing with a Game Boy or something, or your parents handed you down their NES or Super NES or something, and you played a little bit of it, but decided video games weren't your thing and you wanted to move on to better things, you're not a gamer. But if you grew up with video games and you liked it and you played more of it and you started to buy your own consoles or handhelds, then yeah, you'd be considered a gamer. Whether it's casual or professional or just like
So
a
you're
sweat.
saying there's degrees to these social groups, as it were.
That's how I see that's how I see it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's literally how I see gender too.
I don't see it that way. I
Well, I
don't
mean,
like
there's all kinds of men and women. It's not just one archetype that you have to be or you're not.
I mean, I don't know. I I just I just I know I just don't think that a male can just flat out call themselves she her until proven otherwise until they get a sex change.
Well, I mean, I do.
You were you physically born a male?
Yep. Sign male at birth.
Then you don't have the right to identify as she or her until you get a sex change. Plain and simple.
I'm going
You
through
should
HRT. Is that enough of medical intervention to start being able to call myself that?
again gender transformation, going from male to female. Whether you're not getting if you're even if you're not getting a sex change and you're just changing your voice and you still have the male body part, you still should always identify as he him until the sex change happens. I
Well,
get that.
what
I get
about the people that lose that body part? Do they no longer get to identify as male if, let's say, random example, a shark bites somebody's dick off? Are they no longer a man?
See, that's where it gets tricky. That's a completely different story. If something like that, if
Well,
even though
it's
that's
still getting to the core idea of
well,
essentially
yeah,
what I'm seeing is biological essentialism, where the gender is what's in your pants. And if you remove that from the overall person, does that change their gender? In my opinion, no.
but it. Hmm, if you put it that way with the whole shark thing, like if that happened on accident or something, yes, they're still considered male. It's not like they're doing it on purpose or anything. If an accident happens or somebody like shoots them in the dick or somebody gets their dick chopped off in like a murder or something, they're still that gender that they're born as. But if they're physically changing it at the hospital on their own decision, that's when it changes.
I mean, yeah, medical intervention does help a lot of people with that stuff.
But I see it as a lot of the this young generation, my generation, is they're just making shit up because they want to feel better about themselves, and I feel like a lot of them, if not all of them, that are trying to become transgender are just not even trying to save up or ask their insurance to even cover the gender assignment surgery. I'm not gonna personally ask them, obviously, but that's just my guess. I feel like a lot of them are not gonna want to actually go through with surgery, and they just want to go through hormone trans transformation by just changing their voice over time. Sure, if they want to keep
Fun
taking the
fact.
pills, go ahead.
Fun fact: the hormone therapy doesn't do a whole lot to actually change your voice. It is actually a lot of additional effort through voice training. Just FYI.
I mean, like I could see it doing people doing that. I guess if you try to train your voice on your own, yeah.
Hmm.
But it's like
But like, yeah, the hormone therapy does have an effect. Just
Yeah, I
not
mean,
as much as people tend to assume.
so are you saying the hormone pill taking doesn't fully change your voice over time?
It does start to slightly soften the voice, but without regular active effort, it's not going to drastically change.
Okay. So no matter how long you took it for, say you took it for like a whole year or even longer than that, it's still not gonna drastically change it.
Yeah, I've been on it for like 4 or 5 years now. And I started way deeper than I speak now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's making up rules. Wait, is they talking about me or talking about what I'm talking about? I'm confused.
Oh, don't read chat, it's always a trap.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I wanted to get back to your point about people are doing this for a trend to make themselves feel better.
They're just doing. I think they're
That
doing
one
it
I
for
don't get.
attention. I think they're just doing it for attention, just to do it. They're not really trying. They're just doing it just to. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say feel better about themselves, but more of just for attention because they're trying to be attention seekers. They're doing it for attention to make people be like more friendly towards them and to make them just
In my experience, coming out
uh,
as trans generally tends to lead to the opposite kind of attention. You don't get a whole lot of friendly attention. I'm actually a very rare case where my parents actually accepted me. Most people that I know, their parents have either disowned them or
that's true.
continue to, ignore their surgeries. Like, I know one
But
specific
just
trans woman, full surgeries done, her father still comments happy birthday and then her dead name. This is like over a decade
yeah.
that she has been herself.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right about that. I just meant more like I didn't mean in general like being friends with each other. I meant like more with being friendly within the LGBT community is what I meant. Like more people in that community will accept you for who you are, type of thing. Is
That is
more than the general public would.
yeah, the queer community tends to be quite accepting of people. It's like, the way I see it, you let people live the way they want to live, their lives are happier and they are more productive in the workplace, even.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. I don't even know what to say. Like I understand that you should just let people live and stuff like that and live their own lives, like let bygones be bygones, so to speak. But like, I don't know. I'd be, I don't know, because I know, like, I don't hate gays. I just hate the way they speak with us, the more like feminine ones, like, because I have my mom has a friend a work friend who's gay, so I don't hate him or anything, but like a lot of the feminine gay guys is just the way they talk just pisses me off for some reason. Like if you're gonna like how else do I put it? Like I don't I wouldn't mind talking to a gay guy if it was like if they didn't talk more feminine, if that makes sense. If they were like talking like a straight person, or if they were like bi, they didn't have the more prominent feminine voice, I'd be okay with it because I wouldn't mind hearing like having an open conversation with them. But whenever if I'm in a call with like a random gay guy that's trying to explain something to me, or if I'm talking to them like in a normal conversation, it just it freaks me out whenever it makes me cringe sometimes when I hear how feminine, how girly their voice sounds. It makes me so mad. It's so annoying to me. It's like if you're gonna talk feminine, you might as well just like become full on female at that point. I'm just saying.
Well, some people just like to be femboys. I mean, I can
Not
get
all gay
how
guys are
it can be
femboys,
like.
though. But I mean, if
Pardon?
that's, I said not all gay guys are femboys.
Oh, absolutely not. There are some very
So I think
macho gay guys. A lot of them,
I think
actually.
yeah, I think as I say, I think the societal term of femboy is completely different from a gay guy having a feminine voice. Do you know what I mean? Do you know which kind of I think we're on the same page,
Yeah,
right? Like
not
femboy has a
necessarily
completely different
femboy
definition,
in like
right?
the skirts and stuff, but like kind of what people, or at least what I tend to picture when I hear the term metrosexual.
Yeah, yeah. Is when
Like
they like
basically
dress.
somebody that just takes care of themselves, but has a bit more of a feminine voice. But I can see how the flamboyance can be a
That's what it
little
was,
annoying.
flamboyant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I couldn't think of the word.
All good. I can see how that can come across as annoying, but largely at the end of the day, that's literally all it is, and it doesn't really affect me outside of any conversation I'm directly having with somebody.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I see the comment. They tagged me. They
oh,
called me
Angel Tail
insane.
is actually a really nice bean.
We're hoping to reach some understanding.
Um,
Okay.
I was also just kind of curious. Do you actually know the origin for, or not the origin, like how long people have actually used the singular they them pronouns?
No, I actually don't. Do you?
So yeah, I did a quick Google search and it brought up Oxford English Dictionary traces it back to 1375.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry for my language.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay.
I would just personally avoid
1300s.
prefer
Holy
no
shit.
slurs, but YouTube's give or take with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's at least somewhat recorded back to that long ago.
Interesting. I never knew that. Yeah, I feel like here's and that's another thing about like the they them thing. Like I understand because when I thought about it more, I'm like, okay, if you're because I also remembered that they and them can also refer to as one person as well when you're talking about like if you're at work or if you're with family and you're talking about another person and you're like they did this or they said this, you could like easily just you could whether it's like if say if the person B brings up the person's name to person A, then you could say, oh well they and you could be like, oh they said this and they could mean that person that the conversation is about. Whereas the other they them situation would be where people are trying to identify as they them, referring to being more than one person, in a sense, where like they're not more than one person, they're just a one singular person. So I don't know why people are the Gen Z and millennials are trying to identify as they them when they're not more than one person. That's just how I mostly saw it. But before I started thinking about the whole they one person thing, I just think that if someone's gonna have gender identity, they either identify as he, him, or she, her, not they, them, because you're only one person. There is no there is no they, them that you're born as. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain. Like
Well,
you
some
know,
people just don't really feel any sort of attachment to the essentially gender roles we are given, the male or female, and they just kind of want to have something to differentiate that for themselves. I don't really see any big issue with that. Um, I mean, I guess people could start inventing new pronouns aside from they, them to fill
oh,
the
I've already
gap
seen
when.
it. I've already seen it. I think people started doing a little bit of identifying as being it, like as a
Yeah,
joke.
some people go as it's embracing
Yeah.
the dehumanization aspect.
Yeah, but I don't that even that didn't last very long. That was like a short while that people started doing it. I don't
Oh,
even
I
know if
still
people
know people that do it.
I don't even know if people take them serious about that or if people are doing that as a joke.
Personally, I have no idea whether or not they're taking it seriously or they're doing it as a joke, but I'm going to err on the side of caution of maybe this is how they actually want to be referred to, so in respect for their wishes, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and for me, like with even with you, like if I'm like or anybody like you, like if I started talking to a person that was born male, biologically male, but they identified as female, I'm still gonna refer to them as he, him, and until they like get the gender switch. I don't see them as she, her. If they weren't if they were never born as a female with the female body part, I don't feel like I should call them the gender they want to be called when they should be identified as the gender they're born the as they were born as. I
But
would never
why
identify
not?
a male as she
It's
because
actually a
it
little
doesn't
more
make
socially
sense.
convenient.
Because it just
Like,
doesn't make
if
any sense. If
let's
you're born
say,
male, you should always identify as he, him.
well,
I'm
let's
never gonna
say,
call them she, her. I'll always call them he, him because that's what they're born as. It's a joke.
pardon?
It's a joke. It's a joke to call them the opposite gender when they're clearly born as a male.
Well, let's
Vice
say
versa.
you're going to go meet somebody like me at a restaurant, and then you're trying to point out who you're about to meet. Would you look, or would you point to the clearly feminine presenting person and say he when telling the waiter where you're sitting?
Like if we're like out somewhere and we had it sounds weird, but yeah, if something like that happened and we sat down, had food, and say if I was ordering for us or whatever, as an example, I'd be like, "Oh, he's gonna have this," instead of "she's gonna have this," because you were born a male, so I'm gonna call you he, him.
Well, I'm just saying, if somebody happens to do that to me IRL, they're going to get some weird looks because I don't exactly look super masculine.
You have to look masculine to be called he, him. I'm just saying, like, if you're born as male, then whether you're masculine or feminine, I'm still gonna say he, him, regardless.
Yeah, and there's nothing I can do to stop you from doing that. I can just forewarn you that you might look kind of weird when you're pointing at somebody that everybody else sees as effectively a woman and you're calling them a man.
Because, well, it also depends on context. Like, if a group of people knew what you were, obviously the transgender people are not going to reveal what they were born as for obvious, I guess, for obvious reasons. But if it came up and people heard it, then it would be different. But I just I understand. Yeah, and I probably would get weird looks, especially if a lot of people in the area or in that restaurant or wherever might like accept the LGBT community. But that's just
Maybe they don't
certain
accept
people
it.
like
Maybe they just can't clock the trans person as well as you can.
true. And also, if you what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, what is it? Is it cis? Is it cisgender? I can't. What is it when males are not trans
When you
but express
associate
feminine?
with the assigned sex at birth, you are cisgender.
I
So,
thought
like,
I
if you're born a male and then you grow up and yeah, I like being a dude, then you're cisgender.
wait. What? I always thought cisgender was when like when men would like dress feminine and they would cosplay as they try to cosplay as female. Not really cosplay, but they would just like dress in female clothes or try to wear
That
dresses
is
and
a
stuff.
separate thing called sissies.
No. Yeah, I thought sissies and cisgender was like the same thing.
Yeah, and well,
Oh,
if you
drag
talk to
queens?
if
That's another thing too. That too, but not specifically that.
well, drag queens they dress up that way in like an extravagant show or an extravagant display of like gender expression, and then they kind of just keep it on the stage, kind of it's just their persona.
Yeah.
They
I'm
take it
not
off
talking
at the
about
end of the day.
I'm talking about like something else. It's I don't wanna trying to think of a better way to explain it. Not exactly drag queen, but a little like somewhat less than that. Yeah, I guess it's sissy would be the right term. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, sissy is its weird own thing within the gay male subculture.
Yeah.
That one, it's largely just the kink. For your typical trans person, we just want to live how we want. We just want to live comfortably, be perceived the way we see ourselves.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I didn't know that was what cisgender was. I always took that the wrong way as being like a bad thing. I didn't actually know what it was.
Yeah, no, it's actually not anything bad at all. It actually comes from the same root, I believe, Latin, as like trans, which means other. Cis
Right.
means same.
Oh, okay. So a straight male is considered cisgender, or is it a
A
gay
straight
male?
male can be considered cisgender, yeah.
What's the main thing of it then? Is it mainly gay guys? I'm confused.
Well, cis doesn't have to do with sexuality at all. It just has to do with one's own gender identity.
Oh, interesting. Isn't there what's the other? There's cis and what's the other one?
Cis and trans.
No, not trans. I thought there was another one. There was like a isn't there like a female form of cis? I forget. I feel I know for a fact there's a
No,
different
cis
there's
just
like a,
like you can be a cis male
oh,
like
cis
my mother.
female.
She is a cis female.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it
Yeah,
was. Okay. I thought that was another thing of it. I thought I couldn't remember if you could be cis female or just cis male.
yeah. Cis is just a descriptor of sorts. It's just a type of that category.
Cis, okay. Cisgender equals adjective. No. Oh, okay. Is a adjective equals of people whose gender identity matches assigned at birth, different from sissy. Also, yeah. Okay. Um, straight sexual orientation about romance and love versus cisgender equals gender identity. Non-binary, gender identity, sexual orientation. Um, I'm like blanking right now. Um, same thing as inter. Someone's talked about someone. Tails asking about inter. I don't think I. What is intersex? I don't know what that. I feel like I don't know what that is.
Intersex is an individual who is born with multiple sexual characteristics, like literally born with a penis and a vagina. Sometimes it's
Oh, that's
internal
right.
testes, sometimes it's external ovaries. It
Yeah,
is very weird.
yeah. It's very very rare to see someone with both parts.
About 2% of the global population.
Yeah, sounds about right. It's like only a couple of people who actually have it. It's not hundreds or thousands. It's more like maybe 1 to 5 people at best.
Well, I mean, the odds are about the same as if you've seen a redheaded person, you've seen an intersex person.
Oh, okay.
It's literally about like it's 2% for people to be redheaded and it's 2% for people to be intersex. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
there is a wide variety of what can be intersex characteristics.
Gotcha.
Technically, I fall under that category because I had started to develop breasts in first puberty.
Well, yeah, because you were taking hormones.
No, I started taking hormones at 27.
And how old are you now?
32.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, because you've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
I had what people referred to as gynecomastia, where a assigned male at birth had developed breast tissue during puberty.
was that before taking hormones?
Yep, those were all natural.
I mean, at that point, you call them pecs if you're muscular. I
Well, I
don't.
had
I
a
mean,
doctor remove them. He called it breasts.
well, you could say male breasts or just male pecs. Some people refer to it as pecs if you're super muscular. It's like, damn, look at those pecs. You don't really call it. Most people don't really call it when breasts on a male. You
Yeah,
just call it
actually, a
pecs.
lot of
But
people do that in a gender affirming way for female to male people.
what pecs?
Yeah,
Oh,
like when they're feeling self-conscious about their chest, they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about? People are scared of your pecs."
oh, okay. Yeah, as I said, usually, that's weird. You were that you. I mean, I could see like trying to think like I don't see any other way of a male like developing breasts other than either hormones or being fat. I don't want to. I'm not fat shaming. I'm saying if you're like someone who's obese can have fat breasts.
Yeah,
Like
I was actually a chubbier kid, and that was actually factored in by the doctor. He told me that I had more breast tissue than the average person of my size and age.
yeah, because most skinny people males won't have breasts unless you're obese or something. And you said
Even
you had
then,
that.
there's still a range of what's expected for male to develop in that place, given your overall body weight.
Yeah,
And I just had more in my chest.
yeah. And you had it surgically removed.
Yep.
Mm.
And now I'm doing my best to, get back to the body I had for my birth.
So you went from male to female, and now you go not try to go back to male again.
Well, I was assigned male at birth, and then my body developed into a non-binary way, if you will, and then you could say that I transitioned to male, and now I'm detransitioning to non-binary female.
You don't just no. You can't go from male to male. That's not how. Wait, what? You're born male at you're male at birth, and you're transitioning to male again. That's not how it works. Wait, what? You can't go to male to male. You go from male to female, not male to male. What are you talking about? What do you mean transitioning to male? You're already a
I
male to
I
begin
I
with.
admit I was phrasing that hyperbolically, but largely my point was that I had desperately tried to fit into that social role that was placed upon me, thinking that would, make me feel happy about myself. But hell, after that surgery, when I lost my chest, I looked in the mirror expecting to feel complete, but I just didn't recognize myself even more. And that's kind of a big reason why people tend to transition, because they want to be able to recognize themselves in the mirror.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that plenty of times, but again, the other part of it, I just feel like back to the whole feeling better about themselves thing that I said. I meant more like feeling inclusive or what. I don't know a better term for what I said, but just basically like again, I feel like most of them, even though they're trying to like be better about them, like I don't want to use the same term, but what you said basically, I feel like even besides that, some are just doing it just for attention. I feel like, and I'm not maybe not all of them are doing it, but that's what I feel like some of them are doing. They're trying to transition to male to female. People that are male that are trying to transition to female, and vice versa, are trying to do it for attention to get noticed more.
So then we should probably make sure that people actually take the time to sort of try out gender roles, see if they actually feel more comfortable um, wading into the pool, if you will, before actually, committing to surgeries and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
hey,
a lot of people do that and they realize, hey, this actually does feel right. And then there are people that have gone into like some form of gender exploration. They've tried out being non-binary. They've tried out being the other thing, and then in the end, they realize I'm kind of just comfortable being who I was, and then they go back to that, and there's no problem.
mm, genetics are weird. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay for. I don't have a problem with people like exploring themselves for a little bit, and if they decide not to like, they don't like it, then they can always be called like the original gender they're born as again, and just go back to normal. But as soon as they start transitioning and take it and wasting their own money or they're having their parents' money like on like transitions and stuff, it just gets weird, way too weird at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think people should have to pay for it either. It should be free.
Well, not even that. I mean, I'm not saying it should be free, but I'm also saying it shouldn't be paid for. I'm not like I don't. I
Well, why not?
I well,
It's
I mean,
seen as actual mental health care to provide
right?
people with gender affirming care. It actually makes their
Yeah,
lives better, like all sorts of medical procedures that we
yeah,
fund.
yeah. I mean, I
Why
guess.
not?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess. Um, I mean, if we're gonna talk about mental health being free, then that's a whole different rabbit hole that goes right into politics. But
I do tend to go into those on my channel.
oh, okay. No, I was gonna say like that's a whole different thing unless you want to start going into politics rather than going to the original topic that I came in here for. But that's a different story.
If you do want to circle back, that's quite all right. I'm pretty open to take this conversation wherever. But I do know you did mention that you had your own stream coming up today, and I
Yeah.
don't want to push the limits of trying to get into a new topic when you were already planning of going live soon.
No, it's okay. That's fine. Yeah, if you want, we could have a politics discussion some other time.
I would absolutely love that.
Um, I'll read final comments. If what Tail was saying. Uh, Gender expressions. Do I consider cosmetic surgery a waste of time and money? Um, to an extent, yes.
Well, there have
There's
been cases where some people want to literally gamer themselves because they just hate their nose. It's I think they should be able to get that nose changed personally.
it depends on the body part, to be honest. It's like if there's it's kind of like I don't know if this relates to it, but it's kind of like going to like a bad tattoo artist type of thing where if you go to a tattoo artist for the first time but you don't know if they're bad or not and you show them what you want and you end up getting something worse than what was shown type of thing with and the same goes for like cosmetic surgery where if you end up going to a fake doctor or a doctor that doesn't know what they're doing you could end up wasting a whole bunch of money on a surgery that could ruin your body and you'd have to waste even more to get it fixed to at
Yeah,
a proper doctor.
or potentially if the doctor or the unlicensed surgeon is bad enough, it could end somebody's life. I
Yeah.
think we should definitely make sure all the surgeons are, certified above board, and that people aren't spending unnecessary amounts of money on things that will genuinely improve their lives.
Yeah. I've heard a few horror stories of something like that from watching a TV show that an old friend of mine actually recommended to, well, didn't really recommend that they told me about, which is called A Thousand Ways to Die,
Oh,
which
I've heard of that.
used to be on TV for a little bit. Um, there was like one where like some girl wanted butt implants, and they ended up getting like cement injected into their butt, and it got so bad. I think they died because of it, because of like the cement going into other places. It was weighing them down or what. I don't remember exactly what the story was, but it had some negative effects on their body and ended up dying from it.
I'm pretty sure cement's toxic to be inside humans.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. And then, of course, nose jobs is a whole other thing too. If you want to get fillers, but if you get too much of it, then you'll have a big nose and you won't look good. Oh yeah, botched. I heard about botched. Yeah, that's another one. It's like the surgery form of Thousand Ways to Die, except the people on botched are not getting killed.
I don't think I've actually personally heard of that one.
What, the TV show Botched?
No, not that one.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I have heard of the show. Yeah, what Andrea said. It's bad plastic surgeries. It's people yeah, it talks about people having that have previously got bad surgeries and they go into doctors on the show and have it properly fixed.
Okay, so there is like a happy ending to that story, so to speak.
Yeah.
Interesting. Though we are kind of getting away from the topic.
Yeah, yeah. Um
Is there anything else we really haven't touched on? I think we've largely covered the main things of the thread.
yeah, I think that's probably it. I think that we covered everything. I don't really have much else to say about the non-binary.
Yeah, I think we've largely hashed out our disagreements there. I do know that you also got dragged for your calling or quoting Tom McDonald or something. Though that can
Oh,
also be its own conversation. We don't need to run too late.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so I wanted to quickly throw that out there. So Tom McDonald did drop a brand new song with Ben Shapiro.
I've actually heard it.
You heard it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I listened to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there is like a line in like I think it's in his chorus. No, is it? I don't. I forget. Is it in the chorus or is it in just one of the other lines? It's one of the lines in his song that's actually so true to this day. Like a lot of his stuff is controversial, and the shit he says about Gen Z and millennials and like the whole LGBT community, I 100% agree with. Having boys be like men being turned into females on
What was it
on
called? Right?
Facts. It was called
Oh,
Facts.
facts. I'm just wanting to pull up the lyrics real quick.
There's so many controversial songs that he has there's a few of them that talk about the LGBT community, and it's funny because I believe it was the Fake Woke song where he in the music video we learned later on that he had hired a trans female in to be in his video that was like waving the flag. I don't remember what they were doing, but it's weird. Like he was massively shitting on their community, but then decides to bring in a trans person in their video in support. Like he's so contradictory. He's openly making fun of the trans people while also having a trans person in their video. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, to be fair, I do tend to have people on that, or I do have things that I'm criticizing on my stream.
So weird. Like I said, I don't. A lot of people call him a MAGA. I don't know how many, but some people are calling him a MAGA rapper or far right wing rapper or whatever. It's like
Yeah, I get those vibes from him.
I do too, but like I don't understand how people can call him that when he's clearly stated in one of his songs that he's neither left or right. If he's not Republican or liberal or on the left and he's just in the center, or if he's a free thinker, then why are people calling him a right-wing rapper if he's openly not a Republican? Doesn't make any sense. He does
It's
have
largely because of a
right-wing
lot of the
views, but he
rhetoric
doesn't.
he employs, how he's
Yeah.
basically always punching towards the left, and how he's regularly associating with known right wing and far right wing groups.
Yeah, like I think he's made fun of both sides before, but he still sometimes raps about things that the right agrees with. So I don't know. He's like he shits on both. Does he talk about both sides? I don't remember. He's like, because there was there's one like song where like I gotta look up the name of the song, but there's like a happy-go-lucky type of vibe, type of instrumental that he has. In this one song where like there's a line in it where he goes, "Shout out to my Trump fans, they're treated as equals." But then he also says, "Oh, I'm neither Republican nor liberal." Like, make up your mind, dude. He's friends with Trump fans, but then he supports the Trump fans, but then he says he's not Republican. Like, make up your mind.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just want to toe the line or give the impression of like enlightened centrist kind of stuff, and then they just really end up revealing usually right wing biases.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think a lot of the stuff he says is actually true to this day about anyone, whether it's shitting on millennials or just openly, like, talking about how, like, boys are being forced into becoming female or whatever the lyric was. How the society is turning boys into females and vice versa. It's so true. It's so
Well,
true.
how are people being forced into doing it?
I don't know about forced, but that's the way. I don't mean it might be, but I don't know. Just like maybe not forced, but that's he's basically saying that like little boys are being turned into little girls, and that like he doesn't want, if he had a child, he doesn't want to see his son to grow up to be a daughter. And that was one of the lyrics in one of his songs. It's like,
Yeah, I'm not really a Tom McDonald connoisseur. I've just listened to two of his songs now. I
yeah, here,
I listen to him for probably different reasons.
um, here I'll pull up the song real quick before I go. Um, let me see if I
Unfortunately, I
can.
can't play it because I would get copyright struck to
No,
the
no,
end of the
he
world.
won't get copyrighted. No, no, he's an independent artist. He has no record label. Oh, did I spell it wrong?
Really?
He's a fully independent rapper. He's not a part of any major record label.
Huh. I'm just always iffy with music because you never really know. And I
Um,
also like do a lot of my stuff live, so I don't really get the chance to upload it and then not publish it, see what happens with the copyright.
um, let me see if I can find the right song. Wait, this is not the wait. Okay, I didn't know he had albums before that. I must have never heard of those albums before. Um,
Most people haven't.
no, he has like stuff from 2014 and or before 2014. I'm like, what the hell? Because I'm on, because I know that I started listening to him probably when his 20 yeah, when his Death Threats album came out in 2018. That was when I started listening to him, but before that, no. Because the two older albums I remember seeing him have was from 2015, but before that, no. It looks like he had, oh no, there was one in 2014, and then before that there was one. I think there was only like two or three other albums before it that I never heard of. Let me see if I can find it. It's definitely on one of the more recent albums. Um, let's see. Whoops. What's that one where
Was it in fake woke? Because I'm trying to see like some kind of they're trying to trans our kids, but I didn't see it in facts.
That's another one too. Yeah, they're trying to transfer kid. Yeah, there's. I don't know where he's getting that from, but I believe that's true. I'm not really sure where he's getting that from though. That's another one, but that's not the one I'm looking for. Let me see. Let me see what happens if I type in the actual lyrics itself, because I can't remember the name of the song. If I played it on my phone, I could probably listen for it. Wait, you can't search by lyrics, can you? Can you search by? You have to search by the title of the song.
Typically on Google, I search by lyrics when I
No,
don't know the name of.
I'm on azlyrics.com. That's what I typically use. Um, um, believe the song was. If I can find it. Let me just try to Google it. Let's see. Don't want my son grow up to be my daughter. Tom McDonald. Lyrics. Oh, Dummies. That's what it was. The song Dummies. Okay. Now I can find it. Okay. Where is it? It was. Is it in this one? Yep, here it is. From the Us Against the World album.
Okay, I think I see the line. Say that I'm transphobic if you wanna, but one day I'll be a father, and I really hope my son don't grow up to be my daughter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay?
Do you
I
do you,
mean, if. What?
do you, well do you find that to be true, or do you think he's making that up?
Well, I'm willing to bet he genuinely doesn't want his kid to be trans if he ever has one.
Yeah, I
But I
think he's.
mean, what? There's not much he can genuinely do if his kid does identify as trans. Look at Elon Musk's daughter. She fucking disowned him.
Yeah,
Wokeness has become a way to bully non-violently. Wonder what he meant by that one.
yeah. He always talks about wokeness in his song, some of his songs.
But he's not right-wing?
Supposedly he's not. He doesn't claim to be. Even though the far right always likes to talk about wokeness.
Weird, that.
I think he just meant like instead of using violence, people are being bullied for wokeness, but in a non-violent way. Like people that believe in wokeness are bullying those that don't think that don't think think they're woke, but they're bullying it and they're doing it in like a non-violent way with guns or anything.
I'm just confused as to how, because I have seen other people make that complaint before, but I've never really understood how.
Yeah.
Because, like, I would personally consider myself to be a woke person. Well, we have hit the hour mark, so I don't know if you'd like to keep going or if you do want to bounce off, but you did say before that you only had about half hour to an hour to talk.
Uh, um. Hey, wait. Uh, yeah, I was gonna try to point out another lyric in that song, but just to see your opinion on it. But
Oh, okay, yeah.
um, the second part of the song where he's like, um, the feminists who started their movement would be ashamed of so many things they fought so you could vote, not show your butthole on OnlyFans. I'm not a bad person because you don't like what I say. Calling homophobic just because I think straight.
The feminists who started the movement would be ashamed of so many things. They fought so you could vote, not show your butthole on OnlyFans. Well, I mean, the feminists fought for women's liberation to do whatever they wanted with their buttholes, be keep it private or sell pictures of it on the internet.
Yeah, but I think I
And
I'm trying to
actually,
think of
to my understanding, there were quite a few feminist activists that also happen to be sex workers because, well, sex work is really oppressed in some ways or
yeah,
another.
yeah. I think maybe that's what he was getting at. I'm trying to figure out what he was trying to get at with that line. Like he's
It
saying,
just sounds like typical anti-sex work kind of thing.
"Oh, okay,
At least that's the impression that I get.
yeah, all right." Sorry. Yeah, I think that's it though.
Alrighty, well, thank you for taking the time to actually come on and have this discussion with me.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem.
Best of luck with your stream. Take care.
All right,
Have a great night.
you too. Thanks.
Wow, I expected that to go way different. But honestly, I'm kind of glad with how that went. Especially if we do end up talking about politics later in the future. Did I win? I'd like to think so. Uh, but yeah, to wrap up my thoughts on non-binary identities, I mean, you can identify however the fuck you want. It really does not make a difference to me, and pursue the medical intervention you so desire to the fullest extent you can. You are backed by the, give me 1 second. You are backed by the American Psychological Association, the American Medical Association, the American Psychoanalytic Association, the Human Rights Campaign, American Academy of Pediatrics, American College of Osteopathic Pediatricians, the United Nations National Health Service, as well as the goddamn Olympics. As in, trans people can actually compete in the Olympics. It's pretty pog. At least to my last understanding, anyways. There are... Oh my god, that... Seriously, that did go better than I expected. Do I have issues with the dude? Oh, absolutely. Do I feel the need to get pissy over it? Not really. I mean, I was prepared to respond in kind if slurs did end up getting dropped, but I mean, I'm glad it didn't come to that. Oh yeah, people get so pissy about it. Oh yeah. Being backed by a community and those close to you also make a very huge difference. I do kind of feel like I didn't quite explain non-binary identities. You looked a little tired. I'm always a little tired. I do feel like I didn't quite explain non-binary identities as well as I potentially should have or could have, but Yeah, I am kind of tired. I am also honestly not super versed with not what each non-binary person I know goes with. They just kind of vaguely avoid the male female gender roles. But to be honest, I'm actually a little more awake than some of my other streams I've done. Man, why does it keep hiding messages? It's a non-binary person who does fuck all. I get you. uh, Mila, you're great. Yeah, the thing with conversations like these is I don't go into them expecting to change anybody's minds. I go into there hoping that I can, but largely I don't typically see that actually reaching of them. But I do kind of get the feeling that MachoChaos there isn't really going to be making the argument about singular they them stuff. Or at least I hope not, because hopefully I reach through. So are you going to debate a religious VTuber next? I mean, the reason I talked with this guy was because I saw he was getting dogpiled on Twitter for the takes, and then I was like, "Hey, I disagree with your takes. You want to talk them out?" And he was like, "Yeah." A lot of people don't actually want to engage with some kind of conversation, open discussion about it. So if I had somebody that did want to go into a religious debate, I would definitely be down. I would definitely be down. I take the I'm to put my positions out there. I am not a theist at all. I'm definitely an atheist, but I go into anti-theist tendencies when people start proselytizing and, shoving it down our throats. But I mean, if somebody were to come on stream to have a good faith discussion, like I believe this conversation was, then I'm not going to jump straight to the anti-theism, because I genuinely care. I genuinely enjoy engaging with the back and forth with arguments and stuff. Oh, thank you, Angel Tail. I just try to be the positive influence that I can. I'm not always perfect, but hey, I'm doing some things right. Some of what he said pissed me off, but I think he was mostly respectful. Honestly, same here. Like, when he literally said to me that he would refer to me as he, him, and that he's going to in the future, and yeah, that's aggravating. I'm sorry, Coffee. Yeah, you just missed it. But yeah, it's pretty annoying that he's going to be doing that. But at least we had that good faith engagement. Yeah, the vid's definitely coming out later. And I will hopefully have him on again so we can talk about actual politics and not just, you know. Did you end up covering dead naming? It got brought up, but I don't know if he actually knew the term of that or not. Like, we didn't go into a full-on deep dive. It's significantly tamer than what others do. Yeah, like when I see somebody making a ultra spicy hot take on Twitter, I tend to think they're going to be coming at this hot. And that dude wasn't really coming at this hot. He came in pretty level-headed. And I was not about to decry him for the act of rage baiting. I was definitely wanting to critique why I disagreed with the rage bait itself, and well, it does seem like he genuinely believes it, so that's a thing. And honestly, I do respect the people that, even if I fully disagree with their opinions, if they genuinely believe in those opinions, I respect that way more than people who just say shit. Thanks for watching. Like it if you like it, dislike if you didn't. Let me know in the comments why you think I'm wrong. Check out the community on Discord. And remember, if you can't be the sharpest tool in the shed, you can always be the hoe. Just want to take a quick second and thank my peeps who have joined the channel. So thank you to Joestar and Maxi Kitty.